Mark Benioff just got caught in one of the biggest corporate lies of 2025, and the tech media is totally ignoring it. The Salesforce CEO claims that AI is doing, quote, between 30 to 50% of their work. But hold on. Is it 30% or 50%? That 20-point rate should tell you everything you need to know about how he's pulling numbers straight out of thin air. Google's reports that AI handles only 10% of their workload. So first of all, when Sundar Pichai was asked this, he knew that metric exactly, right on the nose. But Benioff expects us to believe that Salesforce is somehow 5 times better at AI engineering than Google. I highly doubt that. So, frankly, Benioff's just been a bold-faced liar, and I think this is yet another string in all of his lies. Meanwhile, investigative journalists have exposed that while Benioff tells America that AI is eliminating jobs, he's simultaneously promising India that the same AI will create 2.7 million new positions by 2028. So, obviously, we're seeing that this is a smokescreen that he's using to blame AI when really what he's planning on doing is offshoring a bunch of jobs offshore. Now, we're going to dive into this today, and let's go through it. Welcome to StartupHakk. I'm Spencer, and here at StartupHakk, we love to train software developers and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. So Benioff's AI claims don't just insult our intelligence, they expose systematic corporate fraud happening across Silicon Valley when it comes to AI. I'm not totally sure why everyone's so lost their minds when it comes to AI. Things that never would have been allowed are now being just looked past as just normal. While executives use AI as an excuse to cut American workers, which it's really not actually the reason they're cutting workers, it's just the smokescreen. They're quietly expanding operations in other countries with cheaper labor. This isn't innovation, it's deception. Now, Benioff claims that AI handles between 30 to 50% of Salesforce work, but that 20-point range immediately tells us that he's totally making this number up. A legitimate CEO with real data would provide specific metrics, not vague estimates that can span nearly half their workforce production. He's talking about that half of his engineering is coming from AI. Like, those are huge numbers. So compare this with Google, who transparently reports that AI handles approximately 10% of their workload. Now, this is a precise, measurable figure that Sundar Pichai pulled up when he was talking with Lex Fridman. The inconsistently shows Benioff is following the same playbook as Amazon's Andy Jassy, who's also making vague AI threats without concrete evidence. Now, in my years of building software, I've learned that executives who can't provide specific numbers are usually hiding something or totally making something up with ulterior motive. Real AI implementations come with detailed performance metrics, cost savings analysis, and measurable productivity gains, not a bunch of hand-waving percentages. So let's dive into this article here because I want to show you that I'm not making this up, right? So Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff said artificial intelligence accounting for, and this is a direct quote, it was actually in a YouTube video, between 30 to 50% of the company workload. Technology companies are hunting for new ways to trim costs, boost efficiencies, and transform the workforce. Benioff estimates that software company has reached about 93% accuracy with technology. I trust that number as much as I trust his 30 to 50%. And I hate that he's allowed to say this without any kind of proof being said. In the past, executives would have been slammed and crushed over these kind of made up numbers and frankly, bold-faced lying. All of us have to get our head around this idea that AI could do things that before we were doing, and we can move on to do higher value work, he said, noting that the company accounts for 30 to 50% of the company's work. It's totally BS. Technology companies are hunting for new ways to trim costs, and I get that. But he's saying that he cut more than 1,000 positions earlier this year, but he's already had to bring some of these back, right? Because we saw Klarna, and they come back to the Klarna example here, right, where they reduced their headcount, but then they had to bring them back. We saw Amazon Andrew Jassy, which I've talked about, where he uses this as a way to threaten his employees. And him saying that they have achieved 93% accuracy with AI technology, we all know that's BS because there is not a single AI accuracy metric that's anywhere near 90%. It's pretty good, but it's not realistic to hit 100%, he says, right? And so I can't, I'm really growing tired of these AI executives who can make these bold claims that before would have made executives lose their jobs. According to an investigation, Salesforce reduced its U.S. workforce by thousands while growing their India employee base by over 420% through 2020 through 2024. So the company signed a formal agreement with the Indian government to train 1 million students and create 500,000 direct job placements in Salesforce ecosystem. So of course they're laying off here in the US. This contradiction isn't just an oversight, it's a deliberate strategy to use AI narrative as a cover for traditional offshoring operations. The same AI that supposedly makes American workers obsolete somehow requires massive hiring increases in other countries with lower labor costs. So Benioff is lying to American workers and he's lying to the Indian stakeholders too. And he definitely can't have it both ways. Salesforce following the exact same deception pattern that Amazon's heavily hyped AI-powered checkout system that was actually 1,000 Indian workers reviewing surveillance footage. Microsoft virtual assistant Natasha turned out to be 700 Indian employees posing as chatbots. Now, we've seen this pattern over and over again, and what Benioff calls AI-driven efficiency is really traditional cost-cutting through workforce relocation to lower-wage markets. Now, Google, the company that literally invented many of the AI technologies that Salesforce uses, reports only a 10% workplace integration. So if Benioff expects us to believe that Salesforce, a CRM company, has somehow achieved 3 to 5 times better of AI implementation than the actual creators of some of the modern AI, Google has DeepMind and the most advanced AI research division in the world. They literally have an army of engineers bigger than probably anybody else. Yet they're honest about their current limitations of the workplace AI. Salesforce, on the other hand, their core business is customer relationship management software, or CRMs, which is hardly cutting-edge AI development environments. So when you hear of Mark Zuckerberg poaching AI people, he didn't poach any of them from Salesforce, right? The mathematical impossibility of Benioff's claims becomes obvious when he compares to actual AI leaders who provide transparent metrics. So if you have systems that aren't connected, reach out to us, because here at StartupHakk, our specialty is connecting systems to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. So check out startuphakk.com/Spencer because we can help you out. Now, Salesforce's own SEC filings describe that their layoffs as cost-cutting measures focused on, quote, reducing operating costs and improving operating margins. They say it right in the SEC filing. Public statements blame AI automation, but legal documents filed with regulators emphasize traditional restructuring and cost reduction strategies. The SEC filing says nothing about AI reduction. So attributing layoffs to AI while simultaneously promising massive job creation in India constitutes misleading investors about actual labor strategies. The contradiction between public AI messaging and private regulatory filings suggests potential security fraud, in my opinion. Companies can't tell one story to American workers and investors while telling a completely different story to foreign governments and stakeholders. And that's why I'm saying I just don't understand how in this AI world right now, everybody can lose their head and spout these numbers that aren't true. Sam Altman's just as bad. We're seeing this over and over again, but Benioff is one of the worst. And he claims that AI saved Salesforce $50 million, but investigation reveals that the saving came from eliminating U.S. jobs and shifting the work overseas. The company conveniently markets this as validation of their Agentforce AI platform effectiveness, boosting their own product sales. So as I've said over and over again, why do these CEOs do it? Because they're trying to sell their stock, they're trying to sell their product. A CEO's job is to be their biggest salesman, but they can't do it dishonestly. That $50 million figure perfectly aligns with the labor cost differences between US and Indian software developers. This isn't automation reducing work, it's arbitrage relocating work to markets with lower wages. So Benioff's AI warnings follow the exact same psychological manipulation pattern that Amazon's Andy Jassy used to keep workers compliant and scared. By framing job cuts as an inevitable AI automation rather than management choices, executives avoid accountability while maintaining employee compliance. The vague timeline and percentages create sustained anxiety without requiring immediate proof. So what they're saying here is we're going to keep threatening you and hold that over your head that AI is going to replace your job. You better work harder. So they're trying to outwork this imaginary AI threat. The AI threat narrative positions executives as helpers navigating technological changes rather than decision makers choosing profit over people. Now look, I'm all for capitalism. If they want to choose profit over people, they're welcome to. And as they filed in their SEC filing, they clearly said that. But why not just be honest with the public instead of trying to scare all their employees into submission? Workers become afraid to demand raises, better conditions, or job security when they believe replacement by AI is imminent. Now, Salesforce strategy represents traditional global labor arbitrage, and they've moved a lot of their employees offshore, as I've talked about. And their AI claims only emerged in 2025 after years of traditional offshoring that began accelerating in 2022. The company laid off 7,000 employees in January of 2023, attributing cuts to pandemic-era growth that outpaced demand. And this is the same thing we've seen with all tech companies. They staffed up during COVID, and then they have to vote people off the island. Totally understand. Like I predicted this during 2022 and 23 when I was trying to hire, in 2021 and 2022 when I was trying to hire my own developers. Real AI-driven workforce changes would show gradual productivity improvements over time, not sudden mass layoffs followed by AI explanations. So what I would really expect to see from Benioff is actual proof of AI increased workforce. You wouldn't do those layoffs and then try to figure out AI. You would show the AI improvements and then reduce employees. So Benioff calls this a digital labor revolution while simultaneously expanding traditional human labor operations on lower cost markets. So if AI truly delivered the productivity gains claimed, Salesforce wouldn't need to hire millions of additional workers elsewhere. Salesforce claims AI superiority over Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, and defies basic technological reality given their respective AI investment and any of their technology. Google spends billions annually on AI research through DeepMind and has integrated AI into search, cloud, and productivity tools for years. Microsoft's own significant stake in OpenAI has integrated AI deep into Azure, Office, and development tools. Amazon has pioneered cloud AI services and it has extensive automation and fulfillment centers, yet reports more conservative workplace AI adoption. They're saying 10 to 20% at Amazon. So for a CRM software company to outperform these dedicated AI companies in workplace automation is completely laughable and frankly shows that Benioff is lying. Now, his deception represents a broader Silicon Valley trend of using AI narratives to justify traditional cost cutting. American workers need to realize that and recognize that AI threats are often smokescreen tactics for decision executives already made for profit maximization. And again, I'm pro-capitalism. They are welcome to make those decisions, but man up and say it. Same thing I said about Andrew Jassy. Don't hover that over them. If you want to cut and reduce, then great, cut and reduce. Investors and customers should scrutinize companies that claim AI savings while simultaneously expanding overseas operations. Ironically, when he made these false claims, Salesforce stock went up. And that's what drives me crazy. The Salesforce case proves that when executives can't provide consistent, specific data about AI implementations, they're probably lying about AI altogether. Now, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love to have a great discussion, so make sure to leave a comment down below and make sure to like and subscribe. Here at StartupHakk, we love to train software developers in our coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for a company, and here's some great information about some of our services.
Hi, my name is Spencer Thomason, and I'm a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So what is a fractional CTO? This is where you can contract someone like myself to come into your organization and get the benefits of a seasoned CTO without having to employ me full time. In today's fast-paced world, efficiency, security, and product scaling aren't just goals, they're necessities. My passion is building impactful products and enhancing organizational efficiencies through technology. From startups to small businesses, my approach leverages lean methodologies to not just meet but exceed your strategic goals. Whether it's through executive mentoring, cloud system architecture, or launching a minimum viable product swiftly, my aim is to make a significant impact right from the start. Recognized in the Arizona startup ecosystem, my journey has been about creating value and fostering innovation. I have led technology for companies like GoDaddy, SRP, and Wells Fargo and turned challenges into milestones. I've taken this learning and launched 7 of my own brands, and now I want to help you. So if you're looking for a fractional CTO who brings a wealth of experience, strategic vision, and a proven track record, let's connect. Together we can build technology that not only drives your business forward, but also makes a difference. Technology leadership redefined to fit your needs. So reach out today.